All right, good morning, and I'm gonna talk about this soybean variety for a minute. I am not at all happy with this soybean variety for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to express my reasoning and why I will never grow them again. And even though they do have plenty of pods on them, you see the pods are there. I'm scared about these things out, and they do. Let's see what it looks like in there. These things are going to be ready to harvest, and I half expected to see purple one in there, to be honest with you. And I'm hoping there's no purple ones, to be quite honest with you. But there they are. They're finished up. They're starting to dry down. This was the first that I planted. This is the video that I made this spring about these beans. They had that little bag of seed with them. Oh yeah, tastes all right. All right, so, oh my goodness. I mean, if you look at these beans, they're done. I mean, they're done. I had people, what's wrong with those soybeans? What's wrong with those soybeans all summer long? Why, friends of mine, Danny Search Jones, he called. He's like, why are those beans, these are going to look kind of green. Why are those beans turning yellow? And these are supposed to be a bush type bean, and I only planted them at about 130, 140,000 plant population. There is no bush in this at all. To be quite honest with you, I would say that what that bag said on the outside is not what I got at all. Not what I got at all. What I'm looking at here is maybe 30 bushel beans. That's it. These were supposed to be a high yielding bush type soybean that was a group, I want to say it was a group 2.6 or 2.4. It might have been a 2.9. Anyways, I have to go back on my records and take a look at them. These were the Monsanto New Ag soybean, and so all summer long they had yellow streaks out from them. They were susceptible to thrips, aphids, and two-spotted spider mites. So we sprayed them. I sprayed them, and I sprayed them, and I sprayed them. And what did I get? This. Now this field was unaffected by any bugs. Just totally unaffected. There was nothing, no bugs. No bugs, nothing here. It's a bit of a dry spot here. This was droughted pretty bad. I did a video a while ago in the middle of the summer. So they were not very good. You can see that they're a low to the ground. You get down here and they're much taller. This used to be a jump zone. It was a jump zone. Now this was fertilized with 19 fertilizer. The difference is there were sunflowers here last year, which brings the zinc levels up in your soils, if you didn't know. Let's go ahead and pop out here. This had no bug problems. Matter of fact, didn't even spray it for the damn things. And, they're fat pods and everything. They might surprise me, but I don't think they are. I've got 200 acres of these damn things. Disappointed. Now, we did go through some dry weather with them. They went dry. Obviously, this area here where the jump zone was, they used to jump out of the sky with parachutes, and this is where they parked, so there could be some compaction issues. This had 2 ton of lime to it this year. It had 2.5 ton of lime to it the year before. pH levels are coming up. Soil health in this field is much better than those, and we will, we're just gonna see. But there's no way in hell that this is a group 2. I'm convinced, I think it is at group 2.9. I didn't want them when I bought them. I was like, I don't like to grow anything under I think it was 2.6. 2.6. 2.6. I don't like to grow anything under a 3. We used to grow a group 2, and they were horrible every year. We planted them a little later than what you would normally plant, early spring, but this were planted in May. First or second week of May. I think it was the beginning of the second week of May. yeah, but they're mature now. The spraying of the bugs, I went through 3 times with bug juice, 4 times with bug juice. I used twice with Hero, once with Battalion, and again with dimethoate, which was the old Saigon product. And I got the bugs under control. I hate spraying for bugs. Once you start spraying for bugs, Hero and Battalion's not too hard on the beneficials, but dimethoate kills everything. So that was the end of it. I had to do that. Did that, and then they just looked like it spread like wildfire. We had a bacterial infection from the thrips. So the thrips opened up the plant to a bacterial infection. I had that, so I had to spray that with a product called Badge, which is a copper product, which then is a fungicide and a bactericide, which I don't want to spray that on there either, because that copper kills fungi, and fungi is necessary in your soil. So I only sprayed it on what I absolutely had to. And about 2 weeks after I had planted this, I realized that I had a major skipper in the field. I had run out of seed, and I'm going to show you where that is, because Timothy came back in with the FS variety, and you can see that they're just filled in the blanks with that. And yeah, that's what we ended up with. And that is not mature, because that is a group 3 or 3-2, group 3-2, maturity. All right, so that's what's happening there. We'll probably be in on these things in a couple of weeks, which is ahead of my schedule, because I got too much to do to be dealing with soybeans. But it's also a blessing in disguise, because I have to, and I'm hoping that, and this is what's going to happen to this mess, and I'm hoping it doesn't, but I'm just convinced that it is, and maybe it will, is that the minute this shit's mature, those beans, the pods are going to open up and drop all the seed on the ground. Because anytime, in my experience of growing soybeans, anytime you have problems with a variety, and maybe it wasn't the variety that they had said that it was going to be, which I think that's what I've got, because there's no bush in that at all. And for how thin I planted it, it should be much bushier, but it's not. But whatever, should be taller, should be bushier. Anytime you have a problem with a variety, that's the next level of horse shit that happens to you. Is that the minute they are dried down, you got to get them off, because if you don't, pods open up, the seed falls on the ground, and you lose your grain. But the nice thing is, I don't think I have any purple bean stain in there because of the fungicide, bactericide that I used. That will stop the purple bean stain, which you don't want purple bean stain, especially if you're hauling it into the port. Because if you're hauling it into the port, and the port says, "Sorry, Mr. Pandy, you have too many purple beans in here. We can't take this," they will kick you out. So don't bring them purple beans. But I do have a mill that'll take them with no dockage, so that's a good thing. But anyway, I'm off to see my parents and see what the rainfall here is, and that will be that. Good morning and welcome. It's me and William. He had a trampoline accident, and he has a hole in his head, which was worse than we thought it was, because it happened at night, and by the next morning, you just can't go to get it fixed, so Daddy fixed it. And that's just the way I roll around here. But anyways, talking about these soybeans a little bit. These soybeans, I will never grow this company's beans again. They were New Ag soybeans. I'm just not happy with them. Of all the beans that I've grown, and I have 200 acres of this particular variety, we did do a little bit of replant with them. The other varieties were FS varieties, and I seem to be pretty happy with the FS ones. They look really good. As far as I'm concerned, there's a couple of fields that the deer encroach on, but I've learned a little bit about deer and soybeans, and don't ever plant a medium height soybean where you have heavy deer pressure, because they will just munch that bushy, that short plant. It's it just doesn't have any regrowth or anything to come back and combat those. But anyways, there's a couple of commenters out here on my channel that are just total retards. I'm sorry, I got to use that word because they're just that slow. They haven't figured out that, you know, every place is different, and if you've ever done yield checks on soybeans, you're never accurate. I wouldn't trust the USDA. I think what they do when they come out, or the insurance company, when they come out and they do a soybean yield check, I have done their formula, and if I did their formula, it always comes out to be well over 100 bushels to the acre, and it never works out. So what they do is they do their formula, and then their formula turns into, oh, looks like you've got 8 bushels to the acre for the insurance company, even though you look at it and you're like, my combine can't even get that off the ground, but whatever, it is what it is. Do I have 100 bushel soybeans out there? I believe I do. Will it? And I've hit an average of 80 on some farms. And it's fine. If you don't agree with me or don't like with what I say, you don't have to watch my channel. There are some people that are just totally obsessed with me, and all they have is negativity and negative comments, and I'm pretty sure I know who these people are. They're just too cowardly to say, hey, by the way, my name is so-and-so, and you're a jerk-off, and I like to post stupid things on your channel. And that's okay, because you know what? It takes all kinds, and if you get too belligerent and stupid, I will just... I'll block you. I'm at that point now in my life that I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about my farming practices. I don't care what you think about my abilities to do what I do. I screw up. I really do. There's times that I put stuff in the ground and I'm like, what the hell? You know, like this particular variety of soybeans. I couldn't remember what maturity group these beans were. So I looked it up. If you go to the New Ag website and on their Enlist 3 or E3, go ahead. Go get some clothes downstairs if you want. I think that's a good thing. It's cool outside, so you're going to need long pants, no shorts. Anyway, New Ag's shortest season soybean is what these are. They're a 2.7 maturity group. I have not grown 2.7 maturity group ever, to be honest with you. We had early group 2s years ago, 2.2. Those were sold to us as being the bean of choice for our area, you know, and we always grew somewhere around 3/8 and 4/1. Those were really long season soybeans. The 4/1, if you didn't get them in early enough, you had problems with frost, which would, you know, wasn't the end of the world, but you had smaller soybeans than what you wanted. So we pretty much settled in that group 3, group 3-2, group 3-4, and I have some of those out this year, and I'm pretty happy with the way they look. All of the group 3, 2 and above, group 3 and above soybeans that I have out are second to none. They've weathered the dry. They are filling pods. They're tall enough that the deer, when you see the deer out in the field, they can only go out so far. Because if you know, deer are quite lazy. They do not like working to get to their food. They'll just trim the edges once the soybeans get up high enough. And if you didn't know about soybeans and deer will smell new beans coming up out of the ground. So if you've got a field, and I learned this over the last God knows how many years of growing soybeans and being absent from growing soybeans. It seems like when you replant the edge of the field that the deer attack the edge of the field because they love that tender top, that bean as it emerges. They will just snap that top off there. They like that. So what I've learned, there's 2 processes that I did not film this year, and one was to double up the end rows. Yes, double up the end rows, because deer will go out into the field and they will just be like, oh, ooh, chip, 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 and they eat. They don't like to get out in the middle of the field because they're vulnerable out there. They can not scoot, you know, where they want to go. So what I've done in this year was to do the whole field and then do the end rows. And on the last end row is, because I do 4, down, back, down, back. On those last 2 end rows, you are doubling up your your planting rate there, because you're going to get where the drill comes out of the ground, and then there's on the third one, there's where the drill comes out of the ground. It may extend to the second out end row, and when you drop the drill, it may miss that second. It will miss. There's going to be a gap, and then on the fourth pass, you are truly just doubling up. So those deer will come out and they'll trim the end, and then they'll get to that one, and they got to work a little harder to get those all trimmed off before they go out into the field. Now, this year, I did that, and then for the most part, I came back in and replanted the 3 or 4 end rows, right? So we went around the edge of the field and replanted that. So now I've got soybeans that are about this tall, where the deer are just hammering it, and they can recover. They do recover. And then the outside round, where they've trimmed it off, now there's fresh new soybeans coming up, and they're going to be like, ooh, we want that bean, and that's what they go after. So I was able to thwart a lot of the deer damage in the interior of the field by planting that, and then the interior of the field grows within those 5 or 6 days that they're chewing on that outside round. It grows to the point where they start getting it tangles their feet, and they just don't want to go out in there, and they kind of stick to the edge of the field because they're not as vulnerable. So that's a secret or a trick that I've used and implemented this year and a little bit last year. Last year is when I started that and realized, hey, light bulb comes on. Anytime I've ever replanted, it seemed that they went for the replant faster than they did the already growing plant, until that plant gets nice and tall. And that's why I will not grow this medium height soybean again, because they just go right out in it. They don't care. It's not tall enough that they have to fight to get into the field. So I will be using the tall soybean. And yes, the nodes are kind of that far apart, 4 to 6 inches apart, and the clusters of pods are there. Now, am I going to get 100 bushel to the acre beans? No. I'm not. Am I going to average 50? I hope. Am I going to average 70? Most likely not. Am I going to have spots in farms that are going to be over 100 bushels? More than likely, yes. Am I going to have spots in farms that are 18 bushels, 8 bushels? Yeah, the outside rounds, like I said. I have a farm that's right next to my driveway that it didn't rain on all summer long. We had 2 rainstorms. One was an inch. The other one was 3 1/4, and now we've gotten another 7/10. Those soybeans are only about 18 inches tall right now, and they're just blooming now. Are they going to make it? I don't know. I have no idea. It has been a fight for those soybeans, and it's just because the storms missed this 48 acre farm, and the deer, of course, they've been hammering away at it, and there's just no way. I'll be happy if I get 10 bushel to the acre off of it, which will drag my yield average down considerably. But it's okay, because you can't win every day, as my wife says. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry if you didn't. I really, it is what it is, right? You come here to see what I show you. I'm showing you this. If you're a douche canoe that's typing on your keyboard saying, you'll never grow anything, you're an idiot from New Jersey, you don't even know what farming is. Well, they farmed here long before they farmed the Midwest. And yes, the Midwest is much easier and much fertile soil. And I guarantee you, anybody from the Midwest that came to New Jersey and tried to farm would fail very miserably. I don't care who you are, you will fail. I know plenty of people that moved out of New Jersey and moved to the Midwest and have done very, very well in their farming endeavors. Now, with that being said, you know what? It's a great, big, wonderful world, and it takes all types of people to make it work and function. And if you don't understand that, you're a poor, sorry excuse of a human being, and you need to wake up and understand that we're in this together. We are not individuals. We are a group of people. What do you got?
Can you help me make this thing tight?
What is it?
It's a backpack.
Yeah.
For the farm.
Well, what are you going to put in it?
Well, I'm going to put my food.
Food? How much food are you going to put in there? Anyways, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, oh well. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you made it this far, Type in the comment section, New Holland combines rock.